There is no evidence whatsoever at this stage to conclude that this defendant had a personal relationship with Dr. Bolanos or Dr. Field. Commissioner Evans' statement that the defendant, Texera, fired on responding Boston police officers was inaccurate.
Breaking news in the murder mystery in South Boston. Two major bombshells coming out of this late afternoon news conference. Police still are trying to put together the motive in the brutal murder of two Boston doctors. Now, earlier information that the victims were familiar somehow with the suspect was wrong.
And we learned the suspect did not fire on police before they shot him. WBZ's Juli McDonald is tracking the breaking details in South Boston. Julie?
Well, Paula and Liam, police rushed here on Friday night after receiving 911 calls from friends of Richard Field. He had sent off frantic text messages to friends saying that an armed gunman was in their apartment.
Count 1, charge of murder.
The suspect in a gruesome South Boston double murder barely opened his eyes as he was arraigned from his hospital bed. Friday night, engaged physicians Lena Bolanos and Richard Field were found bound and murdered in their luxury 11th floor apartment. Late Monday, the Suffolk County DA clarified information about officers' first interaction with Bam Texera in a dark hallway.
The officers believed that either he pointed a weapon at them, shots were fired by one of the officers. That caused other officers to believe that gunfire was there was a exchange of fire taking place. Therefore, that officer fired his weapons.
Investigators do not believe he'd been holding a gun at the time, but later did find a knife as well as a replica firearm in a backpack.
Black backpack was located in a remarkably conspicuous area. I would describe it as that. Inside of that backpack, Your Honor, was filled with jewelry, presumably belonging to Miss Bolanos.
Texera was only recently released after serving a sentence for twice robbing a Boston bank. Court documents from that crime show he frequently used the T-stop just across from the doctor's apartment.
There is no evidence whatsoever at this stage to conclude that this defendant had a personal relationship with Dr. Bolanos or Dr. Field.
Now, in these court documents from the robbery, there's mention of Texera's employment for a security company. Today, the district attorney wouldn't go into detail, but said that investigators are closely looking into his previous employment and any access that he could have had to buildings in this area. Live in Boston, I'm Juli McDonald, WBZ News.